Hello everybody and welcome to the Derek Ruby Show. I am your host of previously mentioned Mr. Ruby, and before we get started today, the Derek Ruby Show is not for kids. So if you are a child as defined by COPPA or YouTube's terms of service, you need to turn this video off right now. So recently I did a video called Things You Should Watch on Netflix, and I had so much fun doing it I figured I would do Things You Should Watch on Netflix Part 2. So up first, F is for Family. F is for Family is an adult animated show starring one of my favorite comedians, Bill Burr. And to be quite honest with you, not only is this show hilarious, it is probably the most underrated adult animated show that's currently running right now. The thing I love about it is, unlike shows like Family Guy or Rick and Morty, F is for Family is very much grounded in reality. There's not anything that could happen in this show that could not happen in real life. Set in the 1970s, this show has a very funny take of the time period, but underneath all that humor, it does show what seriousness families face no matter what era they're in. So if you're looking for something intelligent that'll give you a laugh, definitely give F is for Family a watch. Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Now I do feel like I'm kind of cheating with this one. I said in the after the credits scene in my last video, hint hint, every Derek Ruby Show video has an after the credits scene. I said that you should have probably watched this already, but the sad fact is, a lot of people haven't seen this show. Not only is it a great companion piece to the original Evil Dead movies, I know it's blasphemous to say, but I actually like it better than the Evil Dead movies. Primarily because it fleshes out the character of Ash Williams so much more than the movies ever have time for. His companions in the show really add a nice touch to something that was already great, and it has Lucy Lawless, and I love Lucy Lawless, who doesn't? So if you're a fan of the original films and you haven't seen Ash vs. the Evil Dead, what's wrong with you? Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works. There are various versions of the Fate Stay series. I have not seen any of the others, and that's why I like this one so much. I was able to dive right in and understand it with no problem. This show is about a group of mages that are fighting in a war that use champion servants to fight for them. The combat's really interesting, the story premise is intriguing, and as the show went on, I found myself more and more interested into the lore and the backstory and the surprises that were going on throughout the entire time. So I would say if you're just looking for a new anime to watch or just something different to watch, you should see what Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works has in store for you. The Girl on the Third Floor. I had been waiting for this movie for a long time. It was mentioned in the comments in my last video. I completely forgot, otherwise I would have put it in there. It stars CM Punk, aka Phil Brooks of WWE and UFC fame, and I was really interested to see how well he was going to do as being the star of his own film, and he knocked it right out of the park. This is a solid horror film if you like self-contained movies like Don't Breathe. It's not going to reinvent the wheel, but it does keep you interested the whole time. It has some twists and turns at the end, and when the movie's over, it makes you think about it a while afterwards, which is always a good sign. It has a very standard runtime, which is really good and a very thrilling watch, so I would definitely recommend The Girl on the Third Floor. Disenchantment. If you took the concept of Bart Simpson hangs out with Bender and Ralph Wiggum, that would probably be Disenchantment. The animation to Disenchantment looks like an updated Simpsons in a medieval world, but it has its own vibe. It's funny, the plot keeps you engaged, and for those of you that are a fan of Matt Groening stuff, I'm pretty sure you're gonna like Disenchantment. Oh, Ramona. This movie is a complete throwback movie to the sex comedies of the 1980s, but it's also very clever in the way that it depicts drugs, sex, and all the little things that teenagers go through. Now, you can't find very much about this movie, but you can find a few vlog posts complaining about it, but honestly, the things I see people complaining about this movie are very unfounded, especially when you look at the context of the situations that they're actually complaining about. In my opinion, not only is this movie funny, but a breath of fresh air in a genre that's largely untouched in this day and age. Don't take my word for it though, just go watch Oh Ramona for yourself. Devilman Crybaby. Now this one is just fucking insane. If you're super ultra religious, this may not be for you, but if you can get past that, you're in for a treat. My god, a pair of demon heads busted out of her. Never mind, you'll just have to see for yourself. If you're just looking for a batshit crazy thing to watch, Devilman Crybaby will probably do the trick for you. The Toys That Made Us. If you're into documentary series, The Toys That Made Us is a wonderful watch. They have episodes about Transformers, Star Wars, G.I. Joe, My Little Pony, Barbie, whatever. There are a lot of toys, and they give you a lot of history of how they impacted the toy industry, how it impacted the TV industry, and how movies directly impacted the toy industry and vice versa. I watched every single episode, and I learned something new in each one, and I found the entire show very intriguing. So if you're just looking to relive your childhood and learn something new, The Toys That Made Us can give you that, and you're going to be glad that you gave it a watch. Selfless. Oh look, another Ryan Reynolds movie makes the list. Selfless is one of those movies that will really make you think and pose some moral questions, such as if you had all the money in the world and you could extend your life by however long you wanted to, could you do it? Should you do it? And more to the point, what would you be willing to do to achieve this? I personally like movies that are serious but have a little bit of mystery around them, and this movie really did that for me. So if you just want a movie that's going to make you think even long after it's over and ponder some of life's questions, then check out Selfless with Ryan Reynolds. Murder Mystery. This is the movie that supposedly was the most watched movie on Netflix, and I can honestly tell you, I can see why. Many of you might not have seen it because it has Adam Sandler in it. Everything that people ever complain that Adam Sandler does in his movies, he doesn't do in this film. And his on-screen chemistry with Jennifer Aniston is amazing. You can totally believe that they are a married couple. And who doesn't like a good murder mystery subplot? This is a real big throwback movie to an old genre. It's funny, it's charming, and it works on so many levels. So check out Murder Mystery. The Babysitter. This is one of those throwback movies where you have the kid and the babysitter and shit goes bad. But it's a comedy and not everything is like it seems. It's got a little bit of Purge vibes, a little bit of Halloween mixed in there. I would honestly even compare it somewhat to Monster Squad. You don't have to think too hard about this one. Just turn it on, have a good laugh, and don't take it too seriously. Speaking of taking things seriously, the Maniac series starring Jonah Hill. Now this isn't like the Maniac slasher movies of the 1980s. As a matter of fact, I didn't know what this was about when I started watching it and had no idea it was going to go this direction. This TV show is a great thrill ride that has a lot to do with self-reflection and psychology. The performances were great, it's absolutely something different, I completely enjoyed it, and I absolutely think you will too. Naked, starring Marlon Wayans. Now this movie just uses the Groundhog Day concept. I mean, a lot of movies have done that, like Happy Death Day, a lot of TV shows have done it, we've seen it a billion times. But you know what, this whole concept of this character trying to get to his wedding and failing miserably every day is actually pretty funny. Just because an idea is old and cliche doesn't mean it's a bad idea. In fact, more often than not, when executed correctly, cliches can be pretty good. And Naked is definitely one of those times where that is the case. The Package. This is just a silly comedy that very much has hangover vibes to it. You see the name The Package, and that can mean all kinds of things, but I'm going to honestly tell you, it's about somebody getting their package separated from themselves, and it has to be delivered to be reattached. This is YouTube, so I'm not going to go into a lot of great details on this, but just read between the lines and use your imagination. It is a pretty straightforward plot, kind of feels stupid, but it is funny. So yeah, it's worth a watch. Life After Beth, starring Aubrey Plaza. Aubrey Plaza, if you've never heard of her, is like a younger, funnier Mila Kunis. Anyway, this is a comedy horror movie that's about a guy who has a wonderful girlfriend who dies, and then she comes back as a zombie. But she actually doesn't realize she's a zombie, and it's a very interesting take on the whole zombie comedy genre. I went into this thing thinking it was going to be stupid, but it was actually really funny. So if you want something like Zombieland, maybe mixed with a little something about Mary, Life After Beth pretty much fits that bill. So that's my list of things you should watch on Netflix, part 2. Hope you guys get some use out of it. If you would like to leave a comment about some of the things that you watch on Netflix, you're more than welcome to. And of course, thank you guys for watching The Derek Ruby Show. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. Plus, you can check me out in the Discord. And as always, have a good one. And I'll see you guys next time. Now here's some shit that you shouldn't watch on Netflix. Paradise PD. Lowbrow, disgusting. Don't know why I ever wasted my time. He's out there. Anytime you make a horror movie and the kids are so annoying that you hope the killer wins, you're doing something wrong. Truth or Dare 2017. Can't even hardly remember anything about this movie. I just remember that it was stupid and a complete waste of time. The Death Note live action movie. You talk about stripping away everything that makes something special. Not as bad as Dragon Ball Evolution or The Last Airbender, but that's not saying much. Holidays, a horrible anthology movie that every time it sorta seems like it's getting good, it ends and it's not. Vampire Knight, the opposite of Castlevania, a love triangle that just ends poorly. So if you want to save yourself a lot of brain cells, time, and energy, don't watch any of this horse shit.